party is liable to the other party for any delay or non-performance of its obligations under a contract arising from any cause or causes beyond its reasonable control. A force majeure event. A force majeure event includes any act, event, omission, accident or other circumstances beyond a party's reasonable control and includes, in particular and without limitation, the following: a. Strikes, lockouts or other industrial action. b. Civil commotion, riot, invasion, terrorist attack or threat of terrorist attack, war whether declared or not or threat or preparation for war. c. Fire, explosion, storm, flood, earthquake, subsidence, epidemic or other natural disaster. d. Lack of or inability to use railways, shipping, aircraft, motor transport or other means of public or private transport. e. Lack of or inability to obtain power, supplies or resources. f. Lack of or inability to use public or private telecommunications networks. And or g. The acts, decrees, legislation, regulations or restrictions of any government. A party's performance under any contract is deemed to be suspended for the period that a force majeure event continues, and it will have an extension of time for performance for the duration of that period. Each party will use its reasonable endeavors to bring the force majeure event to a close or to find a solution by which its obligations under the contract may be performed despite the force majeure event. If the force majeure event continues for a period in excess of 3 months, either party will be at liberty to terminate the contract without incurring any liability whatever for any loss or damage arising therefrom. Data protection. You agree that AAAShop may process any personal data you supply to it in connection with the performance of this agreement and any contract as well the maintenance of its relationship with you. Please note that AAAShop may use the services of a third-party data processor in connection with the supply of products to you and processing of payments. It may also provide your personal information to manufacturer where necessary in connection with the performance of your contract. Variation of prices/agreement. The agreement may be amended by AAAShop from time to time. AAAShop envisages that it will normally post any proposed variations to this agreement on this website 30 days prior to the variation of this agreement taking effect. Variations to the agreement will not take effect during this notice period. If you do not accept the varied agreement, you should not purchase any products from AAAShop to which the varied agreement applies. The prices and delivery charges for products may be increased or decreased without any notice whatever. However, the prices variation will not apply to any products for which we have already issued a purchase confirmation, WEE. Please see our WEE policy which addresses our policy in relation to the return of waste electrical and electronic equipment and sets out your rights in this regard. Definitions. In this agreement, the following capitalized terms and expressions have the following meanings. Agreement has the meaning given to it in Clause 1.1. CBS has the meaning given to it in Clause 16.1. Consumer means a natural person who is acting for purposes which are outside the person's trade, business or profession. Contract has the meaning given to it by Clause 6.3. Customer Sales Center means a customer sales center operated by AAAShop through which you may submit orders by telephone for products. Delivery point has the meaning given to it in Clause 10.1. Purchase confirmation has the meaning given to it in Clause 6.3. AAAShop has the meaning given to it in Clause 2. Intellectual property means any intellectual property including, without limitation, any copyright works and related rights including copyright in computer software and databases, database rights, discoveries, concepts, domain names, patents, trade secrets or other processes, technologies, know-how, inventions, ideas, improvements, information, trade secrets, logos, designs, trademarks, service marks, typography and semiconductor chip rights, confidential information, business names and all similar rights anywhere in the world existing now or in the future, whether any of the foregoing is registered or unregistered, and including any application or right of application or right of renewal in relation to any of them. Products means any goods and or products listed on this website from time to time, purchased via the customer call center and or supplied to you by AAAShop, including, without limitation, any CBS or MA number means a return to manufacturer authorization number allocated to a product by AAAShop in accordance with its returns policy. Termination events has the meaning given to it in Clause 15.1. Website has the meaning given to it in Clause 1.1. Gender includes the feminine and neuter, and the singular number include the plural, and vice versa, and words importing persons include firms or companies. The section headings to the clauses in this agreement are inserted for convenience of reference only and are not a part of, and do not or affect the construction or interpretation of, this agreement. You may not assign this agreement and any contract formed under it, in whole or in part, without AAAShop's prior written consent, which consent will not be unreasonably withheld. The exercise by AAAShop of any of its rights under this agreement is without prejudice to any of its other rights and remedies. The provisions of this agreement may only be waived by either party in writing by express reference to this subclause. No delay, neglect or forbearance on the part of either party in enforcing any provision of this agreement is a waiver, or in any way prejudices any right of a party under this agreement. A waiver by a party of any breach of any of the provisions of this agreement does not constitute a general waiver of such provision or of any subsequent act contrary to it. The contents of any documents referred to in this agreement form an integral part of this agreement and have as full effect as if they were incorporated in the body of this agreement. If any conflict or inconsistency arises between the provisions of this agreement and any documents referred to in it, the provisions of this agreement take precedence except if the document expressly provides otherwise. Each contract represents the entire understanding of the parties concerning its subject matter and, except as expressly provided in this agreement, overrides and supersedes all prior and contemporaneous promises, representations, understandings, arrangements, and agreements concerning the same, whether written, oral or implied, which are hereby revoked by mutual consent of the parties. This subclause does not exclude any liability for fraud, misrepresentations and or fraudulent misrepresentations. If any provisions of this agreement are held to be unenforceable, illegal or void in whole or in part by a court of competent jurisdiction or a competent authority, the remaining portions of the agreement will remain in full force and effect to the fullest extent permitted by applicable law. AAAShop may assign, novate and or transfer its rights and obligations or any part of them under this agreement and any contract to any company within the group of companies to which AAAShop belongs from time to time, and or any third-party purchaser of same and or AAAShop and or of their assets, or any part or parts thereof, provided it has no detrimental effect to you. You agree to do all reasonably things necessary to affirm any such acts, at the reasonable cost of AAAShop. This agreement and any contract formed under it are binding on and inure to the benefit of you and AAAShop and, as the case may be, their heirs, estates, successors and permitted assigns. This agreement and any matter or dispute concerning or arising out of it or any contract is exclusively governed by Irish law and is subject to the exclusive jurisdiction of the courts of Ireland. This clause will not prevent AAA